Hey everyone, it's Julie. Today we'll be making Cuban Pastelitos de Carne. So what makes these incredibly delicious is the mixture of sweet and salty. The meat filling is super flavorful and the outside is flaky and sweet. These are one of my favorites and I wanted to share these with you. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is prepare the meat filling. I like to use my fingers to break up the meat. It's much easier that way. And you want your skillet to be very hot when searing any type of meat. The beef released some grease, a little more than I like, so I did remove most of it. I threw in the onions and green bell peppers, sauteed them for a couple minutes, and then I threw in the fresh minced garlic. About 20 seconds after adding in the garlic and obsessing over how wonderful the garlic smells, go ahead and pour in some tomato sauce. Let it simmer for about 15 seconds while you run and get a bay leaf and some oregano. If you are the type of cook that has all the ingredients prepared before starting, bless your heart. I opened my cabinets like 23 times while cooking. Terrible, I know. Season with salt and pepper. Go ahead and add the beef back in. Add some tomato paste, some dry white wine. The dry white wine can be omitted, but it does give it really nice flavor, and it is used very often in Cuban cuisine. I sprinkled in a little bit of cumin, also very common in Cuban cuisine, a little bit of cinnamon, not really common, but it gives it a really nice twist, some granulated garlic, and sazon is completely optional. Now this is Cuban style picadillo. It's not supposed to be runny like pasta sauce. This is perfect for the pastries because it's on the dry side. It won't leak. However, if you prefer, you can add just a little bit more tomato sauce or even a little bit of beef stock. Season well with salt and pepper. Add in the raisins and olives. Raisins and olives, Julie, you've lost it. No, I didn't. The sweetness from the raisins, the spices from the beef, and saltiness from the olives is magical when it comes together. Just trust me, please. Thank you. Cover this and let it cook for about 15 minutes on low heat. While the picadillo is cooking, let's go make our simple syrup. The simple syrup is the easiest part of the entire recipe. You need equal parts of water and sugar. Let it simmer over medium heat for about 5 minutes or until the sugar is dissolved, and then let it cool completely. So if you are at a family gathering and your family wants to make these, you know what to do. Yell that you want to make the simple syrup. I did use store-bought puff pastry. It's super convenient. I floured my rolling pin, and although this is store-bought puff pastry, I rolled it out a bit to flatten it out and to also make it one. If you notice the puff pastry is about to rip apart, it's because of the way that it's packaged, while the rolling pin will help form it back into one piece. I used a drinking glass to cut out circles. I floured the rim of the glass. If you have a biscuit cutter, you may use that, as long as it's something circular. I don't recommend using Halloween ghost cookie cutters or Valentine heart cookie cutters for this. That'd be weird. Take about a tablespoon of the meat filling we prepared earlier, place it on top of the puff pastry, make sure not to overfill them, and then you take another layer of pastry and place it on top. Now you can use a fork to seal these on the side, but I usually just use my fingers for these Cuban pastries. They never really have the fork marks on the side when you get these at Cuban bakeries, but that is optional. I brushed on some egg wash on top. That's going to give these a nice golden color. Take a toothpick, make a tiny little hole so the heat can escape, but don't make it noticeable. Let's bake these in a preheated oven at 350 degrees for 25 minutes. And once they come out of the oven, they're going to look like this. You're going to brush on the simple syrup we made earlier, and you are done. I highly recommend serving this with some coffee. These are very delicious. Like I mentioned earlier, they're flavorful and salty inside, but the outside is flaky and sweet. They're just amazing. I wanted to show you the inside. I can't take credit for the puff pastry, but look how many layers that puff pastry has. So you saw how easy these were to make. Go make them. Let me know how they turn out. I hope you guys enjoy these if you do make them. And thank you all so much for watching.